So I've been playing Genshin Impact since the end of September last year, and it comes out to 119 days when I last checked here, and so that's roughly around a little bit under 4 months. And there's one thing that kind of bothers me when it comes to being a new player in Genshin, and it's pretty much unavoidable that you end up asking or wondering the question of what character should I play, or what characters are considered good. And there's this really weird fixation on having to clear the spiral abyss for 36 stars fully. And for the most part, when you end up looking up a lot of this stuff, it's pretty misleading and can get pretty toxic sometimes. And what do I mean by that? On one hand, when you look up character guides and you end up watching content creators who do showcases with characters who are most of the time C6 constellations and have gear that they've farmed since the beginning of the game, which is roughly around like 1 to 2 years ago. So when you actually play the characters yourself as a new player, it's pretty unrelatable for someone who just doesn't whale, doesn't spend thousands of dollars on the game, or just hasn't been playing the game for so long. Not to mention, for the most part, there's not really any part of the game that requires you to have perfect characters that do 20 to 30k damage on normal hits and do 100 to 300,000 damage on burst skills. And this is all outside of the Spiral Abyss floor 12, which requires like certain timers, which I'll talk a little bit about later. And then there's the other side of this where you have a bunch of people who watch these content creators or read all these posts and just kind of parrot what they watch and what they read. For example, some of the most common ones you'll probably hear is things like, oh man, you C6 your Bennett, you ruined your account. Or you pulled Chi-Chi, oh man, she's horrible. I wish I didn't get her, or something like that. But in reality, when you see them say these things, it's mostly based on what they read or what they watch or what someone else said, but not really how they actually might feel themselves. In almost every other game that I've played, you'd always have a crowd of people telling you what other people should or shouldn't play purely based on whatever tier lists that are popular. One of the tier lists that you'll probably end up seeing most often get referred to as these Chinese server ones that get updated almost probably every patch. And you'll see a lot of people talking about these terms like, oh, the international team. These are the only main characters you should play as a main DPS. If you play anything else, like even if you want to play like something like Kokomi or something like that, then you suck or something. And you'll see these people read these lists and repeat what it says kind of like religiously, and you know, that's all they ever follow. But at the end of the day, as a new player, you know what? None of this matters. While there are obviously stronger 5-star characters that you could play, but if you ever want to play like a 4-star character as a main DPS like Noelle or Kair, why not? If you want to play Chi-Chi, then go ahead. If you C6 your Bennett and you found out later on that people say that it's bad, it's okay. You'll live, and you probably didn't notice the difference prior to that anyways. And you should just play what you want and the characters that you enjoy. If you're to follow these tier lists and have other people tell you what characters suck, and then you'll probably end up playing characters that you don't want to, or things that you could find boring. A lot of the times you'll see people constantly complaining about how the game is boring or it's too easy. But you see those same people playing the most broken characters like Ganyu or Zhongli, for example, and then end up just AFKing doing charge shots from afar, which could be pretty boring. And you see these dead looks on their faces of them just not enjoying the game. And they play these characters for the sake of it just being meta or because it's just good compared to what people say. And currently I'm world level 8, and I think there's might be like 1 or 2 world levels higher than this. And for the most part, there's probably no overworld map content that you'll ever struggle with from just playing, doing quests, or just doing bosses in the overworld in general. And if your concern is about clearing the Spiral Abyss for a full clear every time, there's just one thing you have to remember, right? The game itself is a gacha game. It's pretty much made so that they want you to spend money every time there's like a new banner coming up. Everything up until floor 11, you could probably clear for a full 3 stars on every single level almost every time with no issues as long as you just keep playing. Kind of like me that I've been playing for like a couple months. But the 12th floor, the final floor of the Spiral Abyss, is pretty much always made to be hard, and they rotate the buffs, the debuffs, and the monsters that are on it just to cater to the newer characters or kind of just to entice you to spend money to clear it every time. In here, you'll see me running around the Abyss with like pretty much imperfect gear that I've just kind of picked up from playing for like a little bit. And the second team I kind of just put together with Chi-Chi and Kaya just because I wanted more crit and I just like the characters and how they play. And every time the Spiral Abyss resets so far, I've been pretty much fully clearing floor 11 and most of floor 12. And there's some months like this month where, you know what, I don't clear floor 12. And you know what, it's okay. For me, it's about playing the characters I want and seeing them grow stronger over time. Every time the Abyss resets, you're going to see people complain about either being too hard, too easy, or a bunch of whales that fully clear for 36 stars saying that they're bored and they wish there was more content. But remember that you're playing the game to have fun, and if you can't get the 36 stars, it really doesn't matter, and you really shouldn't let other people affect how you can have fun in this game. Could you be one of those really bored people just copying and playing the teams on the tier list with stuff that you just don't care about just to clear it fully? You could, but wouldn't you have more fun playing a team that you made yourself and just seeing how far you could go with it? Sure, the gems are nice from clearing the Abyss, but at the end of the day, I think that seeing your characters and your own team grow and progress over time, it'll probably feel way more rewarding. And it'll probably prevent you from getting bored and losing the feeling of what made Genshin fun and special for you in the first place. And that could be from anything, right? It could be from exploring the world in your own pace, jumping around as your favorite characters all over the map for no reason, trying new characters you've never played before, or just playing the game in your own way. And just don't let other people ruin the experience for you at the end of the day. And thank you for watching.